Hello everyone, Darren Cross here. Welcome to the assessment video for the Module 1 writing assessment for the case study. So as you know, if you watch the template video, as you know, what we're going to do is complete a case study, but we're going to do it in pieces. And so this is the video that explains to you how to do the first piece of that major case study. So if you go into Module 1 and then go into Study Materials and Module 1 Readings, you'll see this template here, and that's the template that we're going to use throughout the entire course here. So you've already been through the template video, so you know how we're actually going to manage this, but the deal is I wanted to tell you exactly what we're looking for in this first assessment. So in the Module 1 assessment, what we're going to do is complete the first 3 subsections of the paper, and that goes through the strategic objective, right? So it's going to be the main part, and then these 2 subheadings, the market size and the driving forces. Oh, I see a mistake here. Let me go ahead. These should be bolded. So if your template does not have these headings bolded, go ahead and bold them. Now this one at the top should not be bolded. It's the first heading of the paper, and the first headings are not bolded, but these should be. So what we're going to do is, in this first section, what we're going to do is introduce what the paper is essentially going to be about. Now remember my comments from the template. We're not trying to overtalk here. I want you to speak as directly as you can. So what you're going to do is introduce the name of the organization that you're going to be studying over the course of this module, and just be direct. You don't have to actually narrate what you're doing, right? So don't say that the company that I will be studying is ABC Corp. Just go right into it. ABC Corp is a multinational corporation that does this in this industry. Say where they are, say something like they operate regionally out of the St. Louis area. And then a transitional sentence, something like the purpose of this paper is to provide a strategic analysis for ABC Corporation. So straight, direct, and to the point. This should be 3 to 5 sentences. We don't want to go into the history of this company. We just want to know what's the name of the company, what do they do, where do they do it, and then say that the purpose of this paper is to do a strategic analysis for that corporation. Then we're going to go to the second part. We're still, this is the intro, so we're still kind of providing some foundation before we kind of dig into these analyses. And so the second part is the market size. Now this is explained in the section where you actually attach your assignment, but let's talk about it here. What you're going to do is basically you're providing some kind of background or some foundation so that we can understand how or where your company sits in the industry in which they operate. Okay, so what is the market cap of all the money that's made in that industry in the region where you are, whether it's multinational, global, national, regional, or local? What is all of the money that is made in that industry for that scale? Now, if you have a way of proving this, that's great. If you have some data, that's great. But I don't really necessarily need you to dig around for hours trying to find this. I just want you to get some kind of an estimate. And then what we're going to do is say, hey, what share of this market does my company have? So express what share of the market. Do they have half of the market? Do they have 10% of the market? What is it? And then finally, what does that really mean for them? Are they number 1, 2? What place do they actually have in that market? Listen, you don't need to be crazy here. I'm just looking for information. And in these beginning stages, I don't want you to tell me anything about what the company should be doing. Don't say ABC Corporation needs to improve their market position. We're not concerned about that. This first part is purely about laying the foundation. ABC Corporation, or the market cap for ABC Corporation, or the industry that ABC Corporation operates in, is $10 billion. The company has about 10% of the market, which puts them in 4th place. So it's really that simple. I do not want you to get off focus. I only want you to provide that information. We're laying the foundation so that you can understand where they are from a strategic standpoint before we even dig into this. Finally, the last subsection of the Module 1 assessment is a section that looks into the driving forces. Now, this is going to seem a little bit redundant because what we're going to do, these are the external forces, or they can actually be internal forces as well, but these are the things that are going on inside that industry or with that company right now that are standout issues. Okay? So, later on, as we get into the paper, you'll see that we're going to do a detailed SWOT analysis. So you are going to be looking at internal factors and external factors. But right off the bat, before you even dig into this stuff, I want you to tell me about any factors that are outside of the normal factors that all or normal corporations face. Right? So don't say things like ABC Corporation is dealing with inflation. All companies are dealing with inflation, right? So I'm talking about things that are standout issues. If you're a healthcare company, maybe all of this, everything that has to do with the Affordable Care Act and the repeal and replace efforts and things like that are impacting you. And you are going to talk about it in detail later. We don't want to talk about it in detail here. What we want to do is just think about them, right? So again, don't say, in order to be successful, ABC Corporation needs to come up with a strategy to deal with ACA Corp. This is really, or ACA. This is really simple. You just say, ABC Corp is dealing with the following driving forces. ACA, the Affordable Care Act is putting pressure on them because of this. Turmoil in the industry is really plaguing companies that compete in this space. There's a shortage of this resource, and it's causing companies to have to think about this thing, right? So just get right to the point, and we're going to just mention them here. We will dig into them later, but the idea here is you're laying a foundation. When you're doing this paper, we're doing this for the benefit of some kind of decision maker later that is actually going to read your analysis, right? So you're saying, as you are talking to the CEO, you're going to go up to her and say, this is what this paper is really about. So your company, ABC Corporation, as you know, operates in this space and this locality, and this presentation is going to be about the strategy. So the market cap for your company is this. As you know, this is your place, and this is the percentage of the market you have. And as we understand it, these are the things that you guys are thinking about right now that are top of your mind that are going to influence strategy. So you're setting that basis and that foundation, and then what's going on is that you're going to dig later on, and we're going to drill down into these analyses, and you'll see how they actually come up. You'll see how they operate in a linear fashion. So you can I give you some examples on how to do this, right? So another note is, what are the factors that are actually present for your industry? One of the things that a lot of people do is they say, one of the things that could pop up for ABC Corporation is this. No, we're not talking about that. This is an assessment. This is an analysis. So I want you to look at this company and say, this is something that is definitely happening at this time for this company or companies in this industry. So look at this. This is really simple. Factors that impact companies in the XX industry include X, Y, and Z. Companies that compete in this industry must consider these factors in order to be competitive in the market. The strategic objective and generic strategy at ABC Corporation should be mindful of these considerations. And here, you're just naming them. If you need more context to make them clear, do that, but you're just naming them here. We don't need to get super deep into it because that gives you the potential of going off focus. So just stay super focused. I think you can do this in one paragraph. This is really kind of simple, right? If you need a couple of more sentences for context, by all means do that. But I want you to keep it as simple as you possibly can. And again, we're doing these first 3 subsections of the paper. When you get it completed, upload it according to the instructions. And as always, if you have any questions as you're trying to complete this assessment, feel free to reach out to me. Good luck, everyone.